Ladies and gentlemen of the nation, what is going on, guys? Sly here, and thanks for coming back and checking out another Mass Effect Andromeda news update. Now, before we get into all of that, I started my playthrough of the original trilogy, and part 1 is loaded and ready to go here on YouTube. Now, I made these with a viewpoint that younger generations of gamers probably haven't played the original Mass Effect. So part 1 is definitely long, and it's also unedited all the way up to becoming a Spectre. Part 2 will come later today and the rest this week. By the way, today is Wednesday, so if you need something to fall asleep to, or if you just want to burn an hour or two, definitely check that out. Okay, well, let's get into some of that news, and guys, I have to admit, it is pretty damn slimmer than last week. Now, one would figure that the closer we get, the more we would see, right? Not this time. The good thing is that as of today, we are at 54 days and counting until release. With the trial figured in, we're closer to 50, so it's definitely coming along. Now, my weekly updates are created and uploaded Wednesday mornings, so stuff might change by the time you see this. But word on the street is that there is another trailer on the horizon, and it's due to drop this week. A well-known user on NeoGAF has predicted a trailer this week, and there have also been hints about it on Twitter, as you can see right here. But so far, as of today, no trailer, but if one does pop up, expect a frame-by-frame drool fest coming soon after. Alright, so let's get to what slivers I saved up over the past week, starting with some PC stuff. So, first off, it is confirmed that Andromeda will only be available through Origin and will not be on Steam. Or you can, of course, buy a retail copy, which is a physical disc from the usual place, like Amazon, Best Buy, etc. If you plan on buying it through a third-party site like Green Man Gaming, G2A, places like that, you will all be given a code, hopefully, that is then entered into Origin. So make sure you download Origin on PC, as you will definitely need it. Next, it has been confirmed that we can indeed switch a couple of things while playing the game. First is the field of view. As you can see here, devs have confirmed that a field of view change is possible, at least for the PC users. No concrete answer was given as for consoles, but my guess is probably not, due to graphic problems when you switch your field of view. It usually gets, more intense the farther back you get, so I'm willing to bet that it will be locked on consoles. However, that is definitely just a guess on my part. Now, one thing that will be present on both consoles as well as PC, and that is switching shoulders. You can now look over the left and right shoulders when controlling your character, something a lot of us are actually very happy to hear about. And speaking of characters, let's jump into some of the things I caught this week on the internet regarding our characters. First is face customization. Now, we all know that character creation is a huge part of any RPG game, and for some of you out there, it's basically half the time spent in each playthrough. Well, this time you might end up spending a little more time inside the CC, because not only can you create your character, but your character's sibling as well. As you can see right here, you can create the faces of Scott and Sarah Ryder, regardless of who you pick in the beginning. Kind of a neat change, considering you're going to see your brother and sister quite a bit throughout the game. Although trying to make them actually look like brother and sister while creating something different, good luck with that, man. And also, while it's not confirmed, there might be a chance that we will see a bit of the character creator before launch. So, assumingly, that'll be the beta. Perhaps we'll get a locked version of it before it, I have no idea. Just one quick tip though, when the trial comes out, please don't spend 9 of your 10 hours in the character creator, okay? Promise me. You promise? Alright, good. And now, just in case you're like myself and completely incapable of making any character look human, then the auto-on or auto-off helmet option has also been included. Now, in terms of characters themselves, only a couple new details have emerged. One is that you are able to swap out your evade. In Mass Effect Andromeda, the jetpack is now used in place of the traditional combat role, but it looks like a simple jet won't be the only thing we'll get to use for evasion. Honestly, I kind of like just the old school plain combat role. But hey, if technology makes me use a jetpack, then I am not going to deny it. Lastly, when it comes to inventory, Mass Effect never really had anything to worry about because, how items were handled within the game. But this time, with all the crafting we get to do, as well as picking up enemy remains, inventory will be a large part of the menu, and one of the devs, Ian Fraser, says that it does have Dragon Age Inquisition appearances and functionality similar to it. but also that of Mass Effect 3. So if you just jumble the two together, poof, you have Andromeda. Now I'm assuming that it will be closer to Dragon Age Inquisition though, but don't worry, as I shown last week, crafting in Mass Effect will be quite a bit different from Dragon Age Inquisition, so don't worry, hang in there. Moving on to the game itself, it looks like the public beta build will soon be ours. Both Ian Fraser and Mike Gamble joked around showing off their PS4 and Xbox builds over the weekend, so there are indeed fully workable console builds. And if I were to guess, since they both had different versions of a take-home build, then it must be some kind of internal week-long beta. Once everything comes back with a thumbs up from that, the next step is us. So here's hoping there weren't any major hiccups along the way. Now, there have also been a few other confirmed things this week. First is that we are indeed getting back our thermal clips. Just like in previous games, the weapons we bring with us from the Milky Way will use the thermal clip technology, but some of the weapons, based off alien technology, will feature a plasma-based tech, so it'll be a cooldown type weapon similar to the Prothean assault rifle in Mass Effect 3. Also, we get some scene skipping. Now, have you ever sat down, for like your second, third, maybe even 15th playthrough, and you know what's going to be said? You just want to skip all that and get right to making your answer so you can, see something you haven't seen before? But then, after spamming the skip button, you inadvertently select some kind of crappy answer by mistake? Well, my friend, this has been solved. There will be two different keys or buttons for dialogue. One will skip and the other will select, as you can see right here. Now, in this tweet, they were talking about the Xbox, and you see here X skips and A selects. And while we're on selecting, who'd want to select, maybe a more laid-back answer? I don't know, perhaps you want to be more blunt. Maybe, perhaps, a bunch of strongly worded four-letter words from the Milky Way galaxy? Well, according to devs, this character swears a lot more than Shepard did, especially if you select the casual option. So if you're not into curse words, it would be wise to not select that option during intense moments. Also, while we're on dialogue, it's no secret that the Paragon Renegade options are now gone, as well as the dialogue options for them. The dialogue wheel will now have a different kind of approach, with each of the corners having one of the following. First is emotional or a heartfelt response, also known as heart. Second, a response using your brain or reason is known as head. And third, a more well-mannered response that's known as professional. And fourth, we have a straight-up casual response known as, casual. Whether or not there will be in-between options is unknown. But guys, I'm actually kind of sad to see Renegade and Paragon go. Half the reason for all of those multi-playthroughs was that so I could go back and see what the blue option would do, or give me, or perhaps maybe that other answer way at the bottom. Maybe some of them will be locked for just that purpose, we'll have to wait and see. But that does bring me to the next little tidbit, and that is Game Plus. Game Plus is indeed coming back, and a Game Plus replay will be available. In Mass Effect 1, my favorite Game Plus moments came from getting level 10, or, Roman numeral X, Spectre gear, along with level X mods. You could just basically hold down the trigger and never overheat your weapon. It was pretty awesome. On top of all that, all of those locked pesky Renegade Paragon options were open, completely. So, for the most part, sometimes they were locked at the very end if you didn't have enough in a certain category. But that's the best way to replay something, being able to completely finish a game. That is definitely a feeling of satisfaction. And if you're wondering how long like a 100% complete playthrough would take, well, they didn't give any straight up answers, but when a dev says this when looking at the average tester hours for a completionist game, then you know it is pretty damn long. All they do is sit in front of games, so if it's long for them, it's definitely long. And last thing, going into Game Plus is all about trying to do it on a harder difficulty, which usually for Mass Effect is the Insanity difficulty. Hasn't been completely confirmed, as you can see right here, but Andromeda looks like it will have such a beast. This pretty much confirms it in my eyes. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. But moving on to our last little tidbit here, Funko Pop has launched some of their Mass Effect characters. If you watched my news update from last week, then you would have seen the part where we talked about the last name of Liam, as well as the new character they mentioned, Jal or Y'all, however you say it, which I'm assuming is probably the Ket leader. But in any case, Sarah Ryder and PB are now Funkified forever. The release date on the rest are still to be announced. And moving to the last thing, we finally learned that EA Access as well as Origin Access members will be able to play Mass Effect Andromeda early. But we didn't exactly know how early or for how long. Well, that has now changed, guys. EA and Origin Access members can download the trial on March 16th at midnight. So basically, the way I see it, super late night on the 15th. Right? Why not just squeeze one more day? If I haven't slept yet, it's not tomorrow, damn it. Anyways, guys, there's a downside to this. First, EA and Origin Access covers Xbox One and PC only. PS4 will be left out of the trial. Secondly, the trial will only be 10 hours long. Now, of course, this does not mean we'll be able to go gung-ho through the entire campaign, destroying as much of it as we can within that 10-hour time frame. No, it's almost guaranteed it's going to be locked up to a certain point. Just like Dragon Age Inquisition or Battlefield 1's trial, although multiplayer will be fully unlocked, meaning that all characters, all maps, etc. will have full access to multiplayer, though it still is restricted to that 10-hour time limit. And thus, the more reason why we should hopefully see a beta very, very soon. So, PS4 owners, if you have a PC that is even capable of running games on low, you should download Origin just for that trial. But there is also absolutely nothing wrong with waiting it out. But that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, a super slim week this week, and for those asking, we still have no pictures of Liam or Cora, besides some speculation that this is her right here. And it's also been debunked that this image here is not of Liam. But misinformation is indeed a cruel mistress. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's it, Initiates. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If anything comes up that warrants attention, you can be sure that I'll have it up here as soon as possible. You can find me on Twitter at SlyNation or on Facebook under the same name. And of course, also here on YouTube. Always a pleasure to be able to make videos for each and every one of you out there, and here's hoping that this right here comes true and a trailer is soon at hand. But until then, keep an eye out for more videos coming out of Sly Nation here soon. I'll have more playthroughs as well as some update 1.6 stuff for the Division, as well as my usual Destiny videos. Take care, guys. This is your boy Sly, and I will see you later.